What's up, Multiverse? Dr. Dave here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge. On today's video, we're checking out just 4 Funko Pops as we unbox the recently released Goodfellas figures. And as far back as I can remember, I've always wanted Funko to make some Goodfellas Pops. Alright, hands up, I do apologise for that incredibly corny joke, but there is some truth to it, because I have wanted Funko to make Goodfellas Pops for quite a while now, because the movie is easily in my top 10 of all time. And so the 4 figures they've released then are Henry Hill, Jimmy Conway, Tommy Devito, and Paulie Cicero, who is a Funko Shop exclusive. So first up we have Henry Hill, who was I was going to say protagonist of the movie. I mean, these guys were gangsters, hard-lined criminals, right? Can you really call them a protagonist? Although I guess a protagonist in a story doesn't necessarily have to be good. I guess they can be evil, right? So I guess Henry Hill was the protagonist. I mean, he was certainly the one who was narrating the movie anyway. And that narration and performance came from the late, great Ray Liotta, who sadly passed away, I think almost 2 years ago now. And one of the biggest things I think is a sacrilege in all of movie history is that this man did not get a single award nomination, certainly none of the big ones, for his performance as Henry Hill in Goodfellas. No Oscar nomination, Screen Actors Guild, Golden Globe, BAFTA. To me, that is sacrilege. I know awards, they're all like differing opinions, right? I feel like the Oscars have got it right a lot of times in the past. They've got it wrong a lot of times as well. And I think this was one of those, because Ray Liotta, I thought, was awesome as Henry Hill and definitely at the very least deserved a nomination. And now earlier I said I've always wanted them to make Goodfellas Funko Pops, but I did always have this thought in the back of my head, won't it just be a bunch of dudes in suits? And I mean, they are, but I have to say, they do look cool. I think they represent the characters very, very well from the movies. You can definitely tell this is Henry Hill. Maybe someone who hasn't seen the movie or doesn't know that they're Goodfellas Funko Pops, maybe you can't, but if you know it's from Goodfellas, you know this is Henry Hill. This suit, I believe, like I was trying to look up some images for all the different pops to kind of know what scene it's from, if it's like an important scene or anything like this. The only thing I could find was this image right here, where he is on the, or like leaning on the car next to Tommy. I'm pretty sure that's what this suit is, but I don't think it was any kind of big scene. Even though I love that movie, I actually haven't seen it for quite a while. It's definitely due a rewatch now that I have the Funko Pops. Next up we have Jimmy Conway, and actually reading the character bio, he is listed as the main antagonist of Goodfellas, so there you go. He was brilliantly played by the legendary Robert De Niro, one of my favourite actors of all time. Maybe not his strongest performance, that's not to say he was crap by any stretch of the imagination. Another brilliant performance. He's just had so many great performances over his career that this one is probably considered one of the weaker ones, if you can even fairly call it weaker. And now the character of Henry Hill was actually a true person, but Jimmy Conway wasn't, though he was heavily inspired by real-life gangster James Burke, an Irish-American associate of the Lucchese crime family. And as I said, Robert De Niro, again, I said a slightly weak performance, but was still amazing. I love the fact that the Funko Pop has that famous De Niro mole there on the right side of his cheek. I don't know if you guys can quite see that. I may try and get, like, zoom in if I can for you. He's even got the little ring there on the pinky finger. I believe this is maybe when he first meets, although, yeah, when he first meets, I was going to say when he first meets Ray Liotta, but Ray Liotta, it's a different actor that played the younger Henry Hill, but I think maybe that's where this is from, because he has like this jet black hair, and as De Niro kind of ages throughout the movie, or I should say as Jimmy Conway ages throughout the movie, his hair of course starts to go grey. But there is also this image, this really cool one of the 4 characters of the Funko Pops that we have now, and as you guys can see, it is exactly that same suit with the exact same pose. And the third figure is Tommy Devito, and if we are talking about awards, particularly Oscars, this was actually the only Oscar that Goodfellas won. Best Supporting Actor for the legendary Joe Pesci, with a career like defining, amazing, can't even think of the other words to describe it. He was just unbelievable as Tommy DeVito. He kind of made you laugh, he kind of made you scared. He was just so good in that performance. And the funniest thing is, I believe his Oscar speech literally was like 10 seconds. I don't think he expected to win, and just literally got up there and said thank you, I think, and that was it, and moved on. One of the like shortest acceptance speeches of all time. But yeah, that was literally the only Oscar the movies won. I think they pretty much lost out to Dances with Wolves, the Kevin Costner movie, which, although I think was a good, decent movie, in my opinion, it doesn't compare to Goodfellas. I think same with a lot of people, considering Goodfellas, at least on IMDb, is rated the 17th greatest movie of all time. For me, it would definitely be within my top 10. But yeah, Tommy DeVito, based on real life gangster. Again, he wasn't quite the exact same character from what I understand, but very much inspired by real life gangster Tony DeSimeone. I think that's how you pronounce it. This crazy, kind of hot-headed little Italian guy. Right, I don't really want to say too much what happens in the movie, especially for people who haven't seen it yet. You know, go and watch it. Yeah, I know the movie is, what, 34 years old this year, but there's some great things that happen in it. As I said, awesome movie. As for this suit, I think it is at the table. The very famous scene with the funny line, "How the F am I funny?" Don't want to swear too much for YouTube. I do have a potty mouth in real life, by the way. If we look at the pictures, I'm pretty sure that's kind of the same tie, right? He's kind of got his hand out. It maybe would have been funnier if they actually gave him the glass, and then we could have seen that, you know, like it was exactly from this scene maybe. But it's such a cool, such a funny, well-acted scene. Love it, and I love this Funko Pop. Look at the nose, the big kind of flat nose compared to that kind of traditional triangular nose that we've seen on all of the others. Yeah, just so cool. The lines in the head as well. Yeah, love it. And last but certainly not least, we have Paulie Cicero, who they decided to make a Funko Shop exclusive. Not entirely sure why, but it's always a nice added touch. And he was wonderfully played by the late, great Paul Sorvino, who sadly passed away as well, literally 2 months after Ray Liotta. So yeah, like a year and a half ago. Very sad. He was the father of Mira Sorvino as well, you know, fairly famous actress. But as I said, he played the role of Paulie brilliantly. Paulie was like the, I think capo regime is the word they used to use, or like, it's like short for captain, one of the kind of like higher ranking guys in the Lucchese crime family. And again, Paulie Cicero wasn't a real character, but he was very much inspired by Paul Vario, who himself was a capo regime of the Lucchese crime family. And he was somewhat of a father figure, I guess, to all of the other characters, or, well, captain. I guess he was their leader, essentially, right, giving out the orders. But I still felt there was a lot of fatherly advice, especially to the younger characters. Now, as to what scene this figure is based on, I'm not 100% sure. I had a quick look on Google Images to see where he was, like, pointing and in a blue suit. I couldn't really find some things. He's obviously sitting in a blue suit, and kind of giving some hand gestures at some point in the movie. I can't entirely remember when. There's an image. Like I said, I'd need to go back and watch the movie, but I definitely am now that I have these Funko Pops. For me personally, I would have loved it if he was holding a cigar. He smokes a cigar pretty much in almost every scene we see him in, so just holding the cigar in the hand I think would have looked so much cooler. I don't know if Funko necessarily like to do that. It's kind of, it's not really advertising smoking, isn't it? But they're kind of including things. But we've seen figures before with cigarettes. Has there been any with cigars? Not 100% sure, but like, what kid is going to buy these Funko Pops anyway, right? A movie which is without question R-rated or 18 certificate over here in the UK. But it's still really cool. I love the eyes again. That kind of fat nose there as well. Just looks really, really cool. And well, there we go, guys. That is all 4 of the newly released Goodfellas Funko Pops unboxed. Let me know what you guys think of them in the comments section below. And also be sure to let me know if you guys think or want more Goodfellas Funko Pops. For me personally, I would definitely want more. Whether I think they're going to make them, I'm not entirely sure. These were the 4 main characters in the movie. But then I suppose I am being a little bit fair to Karen, the wife of Henry Hill, brilliantly played by Lorraine Bracco. I think they could make a Funko Pop of her. I guess they could make one of Billy Batts. That could look pretty cool, played by the late great Frank Vincent. I won't really say too much about him because if you guys have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And the only other one I can think off the top of my head which would make a little bit of sense would be Vito, Paulie's brother. He kind of came into the movie really before Paulie and was, I don't know if that fatherly figure again is the right word, but he certainly looked out for the younger guys, particularly Henry, and then Paulie kind of really came like forefront into the picture and Vito kind of disappeared into the background really. But those would be the only other 3 characters I could maybe see them make, but I'm not entirely sure they will. But anyways guys, it's now time to wrap up this video. So let me say first and foremost, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me here on the Geek Lounge. It is very much appreciated and I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If so, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And as always, we've got plenty more content on the way for you guys. The usual Funko Legos, such as figures and TCGs, all incoming. Speaking of Funkos, I'll be unboxing some more in tomorrow's video. It is going to be One Piece themed, so if you love One Piece like I do, make sure you guys join us for that. And also stay tuned for all that other awesome content coming your way. What is the easiest way to stay tuned, you ask? It's very simple. Subscribe. Hit click, smash that subscribe button and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on any of that future content. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, nerds!